Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Money Minded here on Soul Sisters 10X. My name is Sharon Hawkins. Today is May the 2nd, 2025. Great to be back with you here again on another Friday night. Hope all is well. Alrighty, before we get into it, I would just like to ask anybody who watches this platform for Money Minded if you have any things that you would like me to discuss or things that you want to know more information about, please leave it in your comments in the comments, and I will do my best to try to accommodate and get as much information as possible. I don't want to seem like it's just repeating itself. I'm repeating myself each and every week about how to do better in things with our finances. So I kind of operate a little bit different sometimes on different, if you have a scenario or issue or certain things that you are looking for. So I'm here to try to just help and move forward and be able to create a better financial stability for in our lives. As you know, I have grown and learned that this is something that you have to learn too, and it's something that we often don't um, teach our children, or we haven't learned, or there's a lot of life lessons that we've had to experience ourselves and go through to figure out how to um, better take care of, better do better with our finances and things like that throughout life and situations. Um, so hopefully this platform is here to help you, to help me as well, to be able to save, and be able to live, a good lifestyle that we don't have to live check to check, or we don't have to, live in a state that we can't afford to do anything or have anything. All right. So if you have any ideas, suggestions, or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments. And yeah, I would be more than happy to help us with. All right. So tonight, scripture will be coming from the book of Proverbs, Proverbs, the 13th chapter. And I will be reading, I'm sorry, lost my verse here. Verse 11. Proverbs, the 13th chapter, and I'll be reading verse 11. And it reads as thus: Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathers by labor shall increase. Wealth gotten by vanity shall diminish, but he that gathers by labor shall increase. So I picked that scripture on tonight a little bit because my tonight's subject is going to be talking about our shopping habits and things like that. So I thought this scripture was good to go along with my topic. So wealth comes by vanity and shall be diminished, but he that gathers by labor shall increase. And the reason I picked that for scripture a little bit for shopping is that, a lot of times we like to live above our means. We like to purchase nice things that we can't afford. We go after the label, the name. And I know we've talked on this before, but I just want to just bring it back around again and remind us that these things do not help us to be money minded. They do not help us to be financially stable. So a lot of times these things can get us into debt. So that's why when the scripture says that wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished. Yeah, it's great to have that Stanley Cup. It's great to have those red bottom shoes. It's great to have that Lexus and that Tesla. But as you're driving on a beautiful car and with your red bottom shoes on, you're suffering each and every month making the payments. You're struggling making the payments on these items. You're struggling going through things, living, just paying your regular bills. You have erased up your credit card and things like that. So yeah, that's great, but it's going to diminish. That's what the scripture is saying to us. It's not going to last forever. But when you labor for something and you make the money that you can afford to get it, and you treat, don't live up to that being, or that standard. I gotta have, I'm gonna go get, and I can't afford, is a lot better. That's being money minded. That's keeping our mind on our finances. That's saying, okay, I'm not going to live above my means. And the second half of the scripture says that he that gathers by labor shall increase. So what does that mean? When you're frugal like that, when you are able to when you're frugal, when you are able to save money, when you're able to say, hey, I can't afford that right now, I'm going to wait until I have all of that I can to be able to buy that item, then you will gain from that. What is that doing? That's helping you to be better structured. It's helping you to be more money minded. You're not going out to buy those things just to be buying those things to keep up with the Joneses, as they would say. So and so got this, so and so got that. I want this, I want that. And I see that a lot. I see that a lot these days. There's a lot going on that everybody wants to have because somebody has it. Everybody has it. I don't personally have a TikTok, but I hear others talking about it and things. And TikTok is huge. And on TikTok, there's a lot of influencers who are on there influencing other people to purchase what they have bought. And a lot of times that they get paid from these companies for marketing their product. And because somebody said they had it and it was great, they go out and buy it. They go out and get it, and they keep it going, and they keep want to keep up with the Joneses. And then all of a sudden, it's a big boom. It's a fad, and we got 20 Stanley Cups and 20 different colors, and the lids are different, and the little things that you put on the top are different, and they're $40, $50, $60 a cup. So we're doing this in our shopping, so yeah, we have the wealth, but what's going to happen? It's not going to last. And you have all these things, and not only is it not going to last, but when you have these things, you can't use 40 cups at the same time. You only really, you need the one. So I just want to take a look at that tonight on our shopping habits. Like, what are we doing, and what can we do to help prevent and to help us in this time? Right now, again, I know I keep talking about it, but it's true, and it's what's happening. The tariffs are huge, and they're going to be a huge impact. And I heard on the news this week that the economy is going down. People are not shopping; they're not going out to spend because of the unknown. We're afraid of these tariffs, and it's going to be 100, 120, 140% higher than what we're already paying. I saw on one news broadcast that they did a test, and they had one of their journalists go out and try to just shop American, not buy anything from any other company, any other country. And she looked for products from food to clothing to electronics from whatever. And there was a lot of items that she could not purchase or buy because they were made overseas. There's not even made in this country. Believe it or not, a lot of our produce and things come from other countries. We're going into the spring and the summer season, where usually, it's a great time of the year. All over the country is experiencing warmer weather, and with being summer and everybody's doing the garden, can grow all of these things. But as we know, myself, I live here in New York, and come September, October, it gets cold, it gets frost. You can't have a garden, you can't grow, you have snow. So where are these products coming from? We can't. All of the states that do have the warmer level or warmer weather all year round cannot supply everything that the whole United States demands when it comes to fruits and vegetables and things like that. I'll give you an example. I'm a huge watermelon eater. Love watermelon, can eat watermelon all year round. In the wintertime, it's very, very difficult to find watermelon. Walmart, Price Chopper, Target, and anything, anywhere you go, it's hard to find watermelons. Why? Because they're not grown in these areas. They're heavier. They're not an easier fruit to ship and whatnot. So we don't have them. A lot of times you'll find you won't have a fresh watermelon. That is, those times. or certain months of the year. Now you can always go and get the ones that are packaged and last longer, whatnot, but those aren't as fresh. And I like, the fresh ones. We like what we like, right? So she did that study, I thought it was pretty interesting that a lot of our things come from overseas. So a lot of people are panicking, and should I go out and buy this, and should I go out and buy that? And one thing I want to tell you is just to slow down a little bit when it comes to our shopping, and we just have to be smarter in what we do. And some tips to help us when we're shopping. Right now, I'll use myself. I put myself on a retail therapy. Retail. I'm not doing any real retail shopping right now. So I'm not buying any clothes. I'm not buying any shoes, no jackets, no dresses and things like of that nature. Now, if I needed it, I would go get it, but I don't need it. Right? Why is that? Because, when you take around the things that you may have a dress from 5 or 10 years ago you haven't worn in a long time. Bring that back out. That's new. Some shoes that you may have worn. Bring those shoes back out, in a long time. But what does this do? This teaches me, better spending habit. I have found when it comes to shopping that, I have a lot of things and I don't need to go out and purchase a lot of things. Not only that, I have personal goals for myself, and I don't want to spend money to be wasting money and keep out going and purchasing these things. So, discipline yourself when it comes to things like that. Make a list. Go around your house, see what you have. Let's talk groceries for a minute. Groceries are very high, very, very, very expensive. And I bowed and I said, but we want what we want. And, you may have some hamburger meat or chicken in your freezer, but tonight you got a taste for steak. So you're going to go out and go to the grocery store and you're going to spend X amount of dollars on that steak instead of using and cooking down what you have. We all have these bad habits, there's nothing in there to eat. There's plenty in there to eat, but it's something that you don't want to eat. Sometimes I do that with cooking. You're tired, a long day at work. You don't want to come home and make a meal, so what I did is I start meal prepping. And on Saturdays or Sundays on my weekends, I try to meal prep and I prep my meals. What do I for the week? I make my shopping list and I stick to that. And one thing I thought about when I was doing the segment too, I did it before I came home, was I did my Walmart pickup. And I said, I was one that said, when Walmart pickup or any grocery store, I should say pickup, not just Walmart. When it first came out in, I think of 2020 with COVID, they, trying to keep people away from each other and whatnot. And you can drive up and pick up your groceries. And I was like, we're just getting more and more lazy. But I found I had to eat my own words and take that back. I like the pickup more because I find myself saving money. Why is that? I'm doing it online. I'm making a list. I'm sticking to my list, right? Now I'm not in the store. I'm not browsing. I'm not walking back down and seeing the clearance that is sticking out. And, it's the groceries are right next to the other items or whatnot. So it makes, I have found for me that I'm saving money. I'm not spending as much money because I'm not actually going into the store. So that always, that is a way that is helping me. And I'm sticking to what I need. I'm going through my refrigerator. Okay, I may need milk. I may need a loaf of bread. I may need whatever the case might be. I may need some peppers. I may need some onions, and things like that. So making that and going online and purchasing it that way has been saving me more money. And I find myself making less trips actually to the grocery store and utilizing what I have. So this is all about being money minded and helping to save money and cutting down on our shopping. Let's go back to the retail things on the clothing and whatnot. We might see something that we need or whatnot. You might be shopping online. Don't do an impulse shop. I seen that, I like that, I got to have it, whatnot. You may want to put it in your cart and leave it there. Give yourself 24 to 48 hours to think about it. And do I really need that? Or is it just a want? Can I afford that? Okay. And this way you will be able to, give yourself a little bit more time, and your answer might be no. It might be, I really don't need that. I can do without that, or I can save that for a later date. Sometimes when I was researching this, sometimes they suggest that you even wait 30 days. You can put something in your cart, and you may go back and look on that item. I'll give you an example. You may have something when you're shopping on something in your cart, you can save it for later, right? If you save it for later, you never know. A coupon might pop up, or it might go on sale. It might go on clearance. It might be a little bit cheaper. So waiting a little while longer can save you a little bit of money. I know, again, we're into the nice weather. It's May now. We're going out to on vacations, ball games, and soccer, and all of these different things, activities and whatnot. The kids have spring concerts coming up. You got graduations coming up, right? So you want to be smart about how you're spending. You still want to be able to celebrate. You still want to be able to live, but you want to make sure that that your wealth, that these things that you're purchasing are worth it, right? You want to look for something a little bit better. I also saw this morning when Mother's Day is coming up, which is next Sunday, coming fast. And, of course, what's going to happen? A lot of mothers get flowers. When my mother was still here, she always said, give me my flowers while I'm alive so I can smell them. So every Mother's Day, I would always go out and buy my mother a bouquet of flowers. So what happens? The demand for flowers are going to go up. So what do you think is going to happen? The prices of those flowers are going to go up. And I know this might sound a little cheesy, but I saw something again on the news, and they have like a paper flower where you can kind of design it. It was like a pop-up. You remember the pop open books? You have a book and you open it, or a card, and it pops up. They have pop-up flowers. My daughter actually got me one for Mother's Day, and I love it. It's a keepsake. It's a lot cheaper, and you can customize them any way you want to. You can put anything you want on them. You can add pictures or whatnot and different things onto it, right? And it's going to cost you a lot less than what those flowers are going to cost. And it doesn't die. You're not throwing them away. It's not that the thought that doesn't count, but that's just to give you a different idea of how we can save a little bit when it comes to shopping. Okay, when we're looking for things, we spend a lot of money on unnecessary things. I talked about a long time ago about how we, the drinks, how the drinks industry has really, really increased. And because the drink industry has increased, now the containers, the bottles, different things have really increased and gone up. And it's a huge thing. We have, it may be over the country or out in the country, parts of the country early, but we just recently got 7 Brew here, and I had never heard of 7 Brew, and I still haven't been. I have coworkers, I have family that's gone and said, oh, their coffee and things are good, but I know they're expensive. $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, and things like this. Can we make this at home? Yes, it's okay to treat yourself every once in a while. I'm not saying it's not. Yes, it's okay to spend a little bit, but when you're talking about being money minded and you want to save, these are just ideas and things that you can do to help you save in the process moving forward. Okay, when you're talking about trying to just be more, and you don't want your labor to be in vain. You don't want to work all week and be broke and have nothing to show for it. Well, where'd my check go? Well, it's in those red bottoms that you put on your credit card, or it's in that Benz that you're driving that you're paying $800 a month for, and you're struggling paying for that and paying your mortgage and paying for gas, right? Instead of being able to live and be able to do what you can afford and can to do. So we have to get there first. And again, I'm a Coach girl. I like name brand things too. I'm all for it, but it's discipline. It's that you have to get yourself there financially in order to afford it, to be able to get there. What am I saying? Sum it all up. Don't live above your means. Don't go buying and don't go spending all this on name brand things and things like that you can't afford, running up your credit cards. Discipline yourself. Give yourself time. Look at it if it's a want or a need. Is it necessary? All right. Again, I'm a traveler. I like to spend my money. I like to make memories. I like to things that I'm not going to forget. I like to experience those things. Those things are fun for me. But even my traveling, um, I have a means of paying it where I don't pay for it basically out of my pay. I have another means of paying for that. So it's not hurting me to go. And not only that, you look for a good group of travel. You look for where you can save money when you travel. And things like that. So that way you'll be able to talked about last week and things like that. All right. So you just got to be able to just do some structure in there in your looking at your finances. Do some structure. Make lists. Discipline yourself. Don't splurge. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. If it's a want or a need. All right. So I hope that was able to help you tonight. Again, I know it sounds like I keep going over these things, but all of them help. Oh, one more thing before I end. I just want to check in and see how everybody's doing on saving. We are 4 months in now. So hopefully you're still on track with your savings book or however that you have your goal, whatever you're saving for. Revisit that budget. Again, do some critiques now that again, we're going into warmer seasons. Your heat bill might go down some. You might want to, you might be outdoors more, and like I said, children with sports events. So you might cancel a subscription to one of the TV things that you have because nobody won't be watching TV this summer. So even if May, June, July, August, and beginning, maybe even half of September, you can save 4 or 5 months on that subscription of those things. So take a look at your budget again and make sure that there's nothing in there that you can adjust, critique, take out, eliminate, move over, whatever the case might be, in order to be able to save for your goal, whatever your goal is. All right. All right. God bless everyone. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and Lord's willing, we'll be back with you again next Friday.